Cool. Right, Jewel, here's your demo. Very swift, in one take, I hope. You need a square of material to start with. A rectangle is no good. It's got to be a square. Once you've cut your square, mark across the diagonal and cut that so that you have two pieces, one over the top, edge to edge, and sew a 1/4 inch seam along there in order to end up with another piece of material, but they'll all be on the bias then. Obviously I'm doing this the swift version, which means I'm not pinning anything. And the thread is caught somewhere. Oh, there it is. Okay. So I'm going to try and zoom through this in one take and hope it comes out right. It's going to come out quicker, but still. Ideally, you should reverse across the end of your seams and so on to trap the material. Then I'm just going to press that open, press the seam open. If you don't do it at this stage, it makes it harder later on. So, standard thing, press the top, then open up the seam and press it open, which, if it was a nice 1/4 inch seam, would be easier than this is. Needless to say, it wasn't quite 1/4 inch all the way along. It's gone a little wonky, but you get the idea. Right. One pressed open seam. Okay. Put your material down with the long edge vertical like that to you. Okay? That's important in that you have the seam that you've just sewn is going at a diagonal down towards you like that. Because if you don't have it on a diagonal, you're then actually not cutting across the bias, if you see what I mean. And then you mark off the width of the binding you want. This piece of material, I've just cut. The square I started with was 30 centimeters square, and I'm, straight away I've made a wrong mark. And I'm just going to mark off 5 centimeter width, so that you can see. If I do it quite big, then it should be easy for you to see. So obviously if you have a parallel ruler, much easier. I don't. So if I get this vaguely straight, no, I don't think I have already actually. Okay, try and pin it down. One. Just try and, if you take your time and do it right so it's all nice and level and straight, this will work beautifully. I suspect when I turn mine over it's going to be a bit offline just because of doing it very swiftly like this, and everything is not quite as parallel as it should be. Oh gosh, can't even hold the material down. A nice professional cutting board, cutting table and parallel ruler, of course, would make this a breeze, but hopefully you can see the 4 sets of marks on there. And you're always going to get something left over because you've gone from a square to the diagonal of the square, which means the side is longer. Is that the hypotenuse? Something like that. Okay, the pat head rub tummy bit is that the first line, which I hope you can see the marking, the first line you've marked is going to come to the seam that you have sewn there. The next line will join up with the next mark, the next one, and so on. But when you're turning it over, what you're actually seeing is a cross, because of how you've marked it. One line is going to go one way and one the other way, like that. But when you turn it back, it should be continuous. Now, how I cheated with this, is that thing still ticking? How I cheated with this was I ironed over a 1/4 inch seam before I pinned it. So